So the full conversation can come in the highlight sheet is confusing, misleading.
I did not believe that the state was planning on introducing that.
So it's a good thing I asked.
Yes, I appreciate it.
I will pull it up. I believe that that's accurate. The state does not intend to play. He's playing music.
Okay.
The state's going to play, and I can get those time hacks. And for to Mr. Sharp, it's going to be when he's publishing the bullet-ridden car,
Okay.
and when he's saying
Bad things about
correct,
YSL.
correct.
Okay. All right. The next thing says location video. What is this?
I think that's just a location of in Mr. Stillwell's phone that the video is found.
Okay.
Were
Is
they-
that just showing this video was found in his phone? All right.
Were we nuts and bolts of presenting this evidence? Were you guys seeking to admit this actual photo itself? I assumed you weren't, but if you are, I guess we just got to make sure there's nothing else on the photo.
No, I don't think it intends to introduce the photo, but to have a reference of the date and time that the video was saved to the phone.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. All right, moving on to the next subfolder. That would be the first of several iPhone mini subfolders. There's a PDF within that. So this is more text from within the phone, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, is there objection to any of those?
I just want to make sure I'm on the same one as
This one says 10/28/24, I'm not sure why, but,
I think that was the date that they created this. This one, I believe, I believe the state believes this is Woody Lee. Is that correct? Conversation with Woody Lee.
Yes.
Okay.
This is insane, man.
I don't have.
They really have no case.
I don't have any objection to this conversation. Can I just ask the state one thing? When these are compiled, this is the entire conversation over a certain time frame between the two individuals.
That's correct.
Okay, so nothing's been redacted or deleted or anything like that.
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a.
all right, with any of it, it's several pages long.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And we will move on to the next iPhone mini subfolder. So this is a different text chain.
Yes, Your Honor, this is,
Is there objection to this one?
I'm also surprised that the state would ever wear green.
So there's a relevance objection.
Miss Weaver's wearing green too. Y'all might remember her from Judge Glanville's time on the stand, or on the bench, I should say.
Do we know who he's talking to?
So the job, we'll withdraw views of this one, but the point of this one was to show that around the time, Mr. Stillwell was using his phone.
Okay, well, they're withdrawing that one. All right, so then we're in the third iPhone mini folder.
Hey, if it says it's a subliminal message, might be.
So this is Shannon texting Mr. Steele.
No, we're not going to use that one.
Okay, withdrawing that one.
Texting Brian Steele? Interesting.
The fourth folder
I want to see
has
it.
a file and a PDF and an export. What should we look at first?
And Judge, I'll withdraw this one too. 'Cause
All right.
it establishes the shooting on the expressway.
Okay. So
I'm sorry.
they're withdrawing it.
Is this the one with 224-391-9924? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to, what is the fifth of the Stillwell iPhone mini folders?
Y'all be nice. Be respectful.
And that one contains a chat with Bottom Boy for Life.
Hey, yo.
What was that username again?
Contains a chat with Bottom Boy for Life.
I'm gonna let it go.
And I guess you read up from the bottom?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Interesting.
So this text chain starts in the afternoon of March 11th of 2022.
Man.
On the 12th, they're booking sessions, presumably in a studio. And then Mr. Stillwell asks him to bring some bullets, which I assume is why y'all want this. And then they're talking sessions again on the 14th. Talking about dropping songs and videos, and then that's it, right? In the very first page is like a summary of the things that are significant, or a sampling of the chat, or what is that? Because that's
I can't, man. This,
where it's got
is this a
the-
real place?
So I
Jeez.
knew Mr. Sharp would want the entire conversation, so I obviously printed or was able to get the entire conversation, but the very first page is what's relevant, that's why it's highlighted.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but that isn't all of that you're going to show. You're going to show the whole
It's
conversation,
crazy.
or what's your intent?
My intent would be to show the first
Stippy,
page.
don't do that.
Okay.
Show
Yeah.
that we can admit it with the full conversation, but it's in order. That first page with the box.
All right. I think that's. Is there an objection?
Well, there is. I think that
Good Lord.
unless
What's the
there's something-
objection?
Unless there's something prejudicial, I think we need to have the entire conversation.
Okay, I would sustain that. So the full conversation can come in the highlight sheet is confusing, misleading.
I did not believe that the state was planning on introducing that.
So it's a good thing I asked,
Yes, I appreciate it.
because it was confusing me. So let's
It's crazy.
just,
Insane, man.
for the rule of completeness, put the whole conversation in.
Well, there's some where the whole conversation is going to be 850.
Well, maybe there won't be an objection to those. We'll see as we go along.
Well-
All right. So no objection as long as that,
I'm going to object, for the record, to the 3/12/22 statement, bring me some FM bullets, like 15.
And-
And the reason I'm saying that is because this is leading up to the Drinks murder. Mr. Drinks was not, the ballistics do not come back to an FN gun. There's no link to the Drinks murder.
well, then that's good for you.
That
But
is true.
the fact that he's asking for bullets is relevant on the state side.
Thank you.
Okay. So overruling that objection and moving to our next folder down.
Jeez.
Do we know who he's talking to here? Or what that attachment is?
Yeah, come on, just trolling. Don't. We get it,
So,
but man.
well, this was also about the highway or
All right, withdrawn.
Are we, we're talking about the one with D?
All right, so we're now at the last of the iPhone mini subfolders within this subfolder.
I got confused. I'm sorry. D is Demikion, Garlington. That's why this entire, I apologize, that's why this entire text.
Oh, how did I forget
is
nudges?
relevant.
All right, so we need to go back up then, back
Sorry.
to that one. Okay.
I don't know how I forgot that one,
So the
Kendra.
second to the bottom of the folders. This is a conversation with Mr. Garlington,
Yes, Judge.
and it starts on March 7th.
So in the beginning of the conversation, some context, there's a lot going on in Shannon's phone. There's a few things, and they're easily confused. Miss Alexander, who is on the state's witness list, who is the owner of a gun that the state is alleging Mr. Stillwell was in possession with on the 17th when he was arrested. That's his girlfriend at the time.
That's the one he goes and gets the car with.
Yes. So there's a lot going on. Miss Alexander made an allegation about a fight between her and Mr. Still. Okay, so there's talk about police reports involving that.
Okay.
Simultaneously, Miss Alexander, there's actually a video of it, it was complete self-defense, but she was walking into an apartment complex and
Wow.
two people with masks and guns out ran up on her. Miss Alexander pulled out the FN gun, which is her gun, and started shooting multiple times. And this is on video, and she was never charged.
Okay.
But there's a lot of concern about, Miss Alexander is the one that's initially asking about renting cars and all that, because there's concern that the robbers are coming after Miss Alexander because she was so bold to shoot at them when they had guns out and were robbing her. So there's a lot of police talk. I'm going to object to, for instance, the beginning of this,
Yeah.
which if we're going backwards, it's 19 going to 18 because it's Mr. Stillwell in a very inartful ways expressing his frustration with Miss Alexander for calling the police on him and putting his jeopardy at risk. So I'm trying to give the context and the
Okay.
background of some of these things.
All right, so go into the bottom, page 19, and then up onto page 18, and how these are all conversations on March 7th. Is there any relevance to any of the conversation on March 7th?
So I guess this is the frustrating part. I provided all of it because that's what was requested.
Okay.
But obviously, we don't care what happened.
All right, so where do y'all want to start with what you would be interested in presenting?
Right. So, page 6 of 19.
6, okay. Thank you. And I appreciate, and I'm sure Mr. Shard appreciates you giving the full conversation so that he can sort it out. All right, going to page 6. At this point, we're on March 12th in the evening. Where y'all fixing to go? And then Meat got killed, question mark? I don't know. People are talking about it on Twitter. Mr. Shannon says, what happened? And this is Garlington? I don't know.
Right, and I don't believe,
That doesn't seem relevant because they didn't move on from that.
and I don't,
I might get me a session.
I don't believe meat has anything to do with this case either.
What's the state's
Correct.
position on that? Nobody seems to know anything about it. This is just like, oh my gosh, I heard something.
Okay, we won't use that.
All right, so moving up to page 5. Is there anything on there? Okay, so page 4. Be ready, bro. Been ready. Share your location. And then he says, be there in 3 minutes. Turn it on your street outside.
This is the day of the murder, Your Honor.
Okay.
And Demekion Garlington is believed to be in the car with defendant Stillwell when they shoot and kill Shamel Drinks.
All right, so this is just showing that he possibly is still in the car 6 hours later, 5 hours later.
Yes.
No, this is before.
Correct, Your Honor.
I'm sorry. Right, no. This conversation is before, and it is being offered to show that at some point in time, they appear in the afternoon to have been riding around together, and so 5 hours later, Garlington might still have been in the car with him.
We believe.
Do we already know that from the video?
No, Your Honor. We have phone records that places.
Okay.
Give me 1 second, y'all.
Gas station around the time of the murder, and we're also on, at the time, Your Honor, we are on a wiretap with Mr. Garlington that also placed him in the location, but also some of those calls, Your Honor, that the court has listened to with the wiretap calls are from the day of the murder. One of the calls that I think the court has excluded was the call in which Mr. Garlington, I don't know if you remember the call that Mr. Garlington is on the phone with Mr. Boyer, and Mr. Boyer says, tell Shannon I'm around, or I'm hurrying up. That is the call that we believe establishes that both Mr. Garlington and Mr. Stillwell are together at the time of the murder.
Okay. All right. So this one that shows they were together.
Just that they have been together all that day,
Well, it
March 14th. We do think that establishes some relevance because we believe that Mr. Garlington goes to the tent place with Mr. Stillwell. We believe that we have information of that from the wiretap as well, Your Honor, but that's not coming in. that's not coming in. We also have Mr. Stillwell's location data to show that they went to go get the car tinted. And so we believe the fact that Mr. Garlington is with him most of the day on the 14th is relevant.
It does not show that he is with him most of the day on the 14th. It shows that at just before 5 p.m. on the 14th, he seems to pick him up.
Yes, Your Honor. 5
Right.
p.m. and we believe that the information about the 10 is after that location as well. But around 5 p.m., at least from 5 until 10 o'clock p.m., we believe they're together.
Okay, and so is there any objection to that?
I'm going to concede the relevance to that. I do have a question, as we're working through this. In this chat, there's these WCFs and MP3s. And this one on page 4, there's WCF. Do we know anything about what that is or means?
I think it's VCF, but
Oh,
yes,
yeah, VCF.
that's.
I'm sorry. What is it? WCF? VCF.
I mean, I suspect it's him sharing his location, since right before that it says share your location. But
Correct. If you're in the phone number and you click on it, it shares his location. This is the easiest way to share it with everyone.
That's fine.
Mistakenly go through the phone number.
that's fine. Okay, so these, I guess, pages 4 and 3.
Yes, Your Honor.
Will come 3 up to number 5 will come in, right? And we don't know what the MP3, that's just some song they're listening to or something. We don't know.
Right, it's a song.
Okay. So
That's just some song they're listening to.
okay, and then the next thing is midnight-ish the next morning. Trying to hit this girl, his sister. Yeah, you good?
I believe that would be conversations of what's going on at the studio. I'm
So
fine with that.
presumably, right, by 12:17 they are not together, presumably, which is fine. But, okay, so pages 3 and 4 will be coming in from this one. All right, so moving down to the last of the folders within this little group. Do we know who he's talking to in this one? Mech. And where is the relevant part start?
I'm not sharing any attorney-client privilege material. I will say from the context of the chat, it appears that it's another young lady that he's having some sort of sexual relation.
Is
A paramour.
Yeah, paramour. That's a weird word.
so is there any relevance on this? What is this being offered for?
So I think the objection would be cumulative.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's.
If you go down, if you were to look at the whole PBS, it's talking about the expressway shooting and how Big Chris got killed. So I pulled everything that related to relevant things as I was going through the phone. But I would assume the objection is going to be cumulative because we're talking about Big Dead Bra and is it Christian Stock, which would have been one of the people who was shot. So, and it's Christian shot. So they're talking about Ford and McMiller getting shot on the expressway. So I can withdraw this sheet for this chain because I assume the objection would be cumulative.
If that was the purpose of it, to show his basically his knowledge of the Christian McMillan.
Yes.
Okay. I think it is cumulative, but And I don't think anyone's going to deny that he had knowledge of that.
Y'all would be
You don't think
wild.
anybody's going to what?
I don't think anyone, meaning me, is going to deny that he had knowledge of the Christian McMiller. Darius Ford.
Okay, so, I mean, that's... So are you objecting or
I
not?
think it's cumulative.
And are objecting on that basis? Okay. And does the state want to insist on this, or, okay, the state will withdraw this. All right. So, I think then we go back out to the beginning of this link, Dropbox link, and we'll move on to the folder that says iPhone 13. And within that folder, there are 5 subfolders. Shall we just start with audio files at the top?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
May I make a suggestion?
Uh-huh.
Maybe, I believe that there's going to be three more chats.
Okay.
Maybe just go through.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, so down to the first of the Shannon Stillwell iPhone 13 subfolders. Do we know who he's talking to here?
The first one, Taisha, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor. At the time, that was Mr. Stillwell's girlfriend.
Miss Alexander.
Yes.
Okay.
I appreciate you, Sean. Sean's in the building.
Any objection?
Gang, gang.
And I guess the relevant part and starts on what page?
28.
28?
Yes.
All right, so, and I guess we'll see whether there's an objection to, or rule of completeness objection on this one or not, because it looks like if we look at the kind of summary sheet, it's that first page where she's saying whatever she's saying and he's saying whatever he's saying back. Mr. Shard, is there an objection to that? And do you want the entire 28 pages in, or do you just want there to be some sort of an indication through whomever this comes in with? There was other chit chat, but here's the relevant part of it, and we condensed it.
I would like the context, and I believe the state has done this, but to the extent that that hasn't been done, there is, and I get it. There's talk about the rental, extending the rental, all of these things. I don't have a problem with that. My concern, and I've articulated to the state, and I think they've addressed it, is that there was a lot of sex talk, and things of that nature, and any references to the unrelated case of Miss Alexander making accusations against Mr. Stillwell in Cobb County, which was, Miss Alexander was trying to straighten things up with what really happened with the investigators to withdraw that warrant at that time. And so that's in the conversations, but
Is that within the first 28 pages?
it appears to me that the state has redacted it.
Okay. Okay, so the state will publish this.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll seek the admission of the first 28 pages.
Yes, sir.
And is there an objection to that? Assuming that the 2 items you just mentioned have been redacted out.
There is, yes.
Okay.
On page 8, I almost forgot about this. On page 8, there's some drug talk on the bottom. I would object to that.
So not the nachos, right?
No, not, the nachos are good.
I'm on the wrong page. Okay, sorry.
Adding.
On the wrong page.
Adding is the address, not the address.
Oh, okay. I was reading things in the worst way possible.
Reading like a prosecutor, Mr. Sharp.
Don't say that.
That's me, Mr. Evans.
Well, he's reading it like a cautious criminal defense attorney. Okay, so no objection to this 28 pages. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. Then we'll look at the next folder.
Shout out to Dear Woke Christian in the building. Y'all go show him some love.
Who's he talking with this time? Do we know?
I believe it's another female.
It's a Paramore.
Okay. And
Paramore again.
Important part about it,
is that he deleted his Instagram?
correct.
Okay.
The day after, or
Well,
Sometimes it be like that, Lauren. Mm-hmm. The moment's right.
Right. My understanding, based on the conversation with Miss Alexander, is that can I come back to that? I didn't realize. I honestly didn't realize that that was the state's point of this one, and I think I'd like to talk to the state about it.
Okay, we'll come back to that one. So moving on to the third file.
I believe, and I don't know how the mechanics of the phone work, but I believe that this is a duplicate of the BM conversation that was in the other phone.
that's correct.
That I think the state withdrew. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So are y'all withdrawing this one also?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So where to next?
There's the iPhone notes is very quick.
Okay. What is this showing? And is there any objection?
My understanding is that the facts, as they come out, will reveal that Mr. Stillwell was in the studio. This is a lyric that was put in like the notes section of his phone, like I can remember something or something like that. And I believe the facts will show that he was at the studio at that time. So I'm going to object relevance in 403 and hear from the state.
403, shocker.
Your Honor, Mr. Shard is correct in terms of the state does believe he's at the studio. The state included this because this is March 15th at 12:52 a.m. So the murder we believe was March 14th at around 10 o'clock, 10:02 p.m. And so a couple hours later, while at the studio, this is just a note that, just like what Mr. Shard said, he typed, like you can make an Apple note to yourself to save. And the second line says, poor little ops, which state believes is opposition gang members, look how they're just dropping. So the state believes, and the jury confer what they want, that this is relevant because roughly almost a little shy of 3 hours later, he's in a studio making music, and he's writing a line that the state believes is about 3 hours after a murder of a opposition member.
And the line is, poor little ops look like they're dropping.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I don't see that anywhere on there, but I assume.
More BS about these lyrics, man. That could mean anything or be about anybody. That could be about the ops dropping music. Oh, this is so dumb.
It's on the right side, Your Honor.
Please,
under
can we get off the
details,
lyrics,
where-
Judge Whitaker?
Oh, there it is.
And-
Okay.
God.
This specific one, it's a screenshot from the XRY system. So the left is all the messages, and if you
Okay.
click one, it opens it on the right.
Thank you.
Yes,
All right,
Your Honor.
what's the objection?
Relevance in 403.
All right, overruled.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
She overruled it. That's
Logistically,
crazy.
when the state introduces this, now that it's been ruled admissible, like, are we going to show this whole sheet with all this other stuff? Or are we just going to,
No, we will just show that note, Mr. Shard.
okay, and then someone will be able to explain where it came from in his phone and all the rest?
Correct.
Anything
And
you
that it's
say
while
can
he's
and
in
will
the
be used
studio.
against you.
Well, him being in the studio part would come from the person discussing the cell phone extraction won't be able to say, where there's other evidence about his location, because it's a little unique because you have an ankle monitor, you have cell phone records, and you have the wiretap. But yes, Your Honor, which sometimes.
Okay, so that takes us to the audio
Garbage.
files, I guess. Yes, let's take a quick restroom break.